Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 8 of Academy Games. I am here with Crumbs, the Prophet. He will try to guess each and every Drake that will change our rift tonight as we watch teams vie for their spots in the playoffs. Crumbs, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I might have to take a peep at the top left corner of the map, see if I can get a little extra help there.
Making sure you're going to see it before it comes up. So let's take a look at today's matches, what we have for you here, starting off in Week 8. And it's Season 10, too. We're so far into the year, the seasons. There's so many. Let's just look at the games. We're starting off with Team Liquid versus Dignitas Academy, followed by Golden Guardians taking on CLG. Then we'll see a clash of the Titans as TSM face off against Cloud9 Academy. Crumbs, I think that's going to be a banger.
It definitely was last time.
Followed by Immortals versus 100 Thieves. See, no doubt, the Prophet's already telling you. We will close out our day after those games with Evil Geniuses Academy taking on FlyQuest, continuing the battle for Academy playoff standings. There's going to be quite a few today, and as you can see, the standings are still a bit topsy-turvy towards the top, but in the middle, it needs to be spread out. So we're going to run through the top performers now in the Samsung SSD Fast 5. So what this is, we've been tracking these 5 stats. It's all split long to find your 5 fastest players in both Academy and the LCS. Crumbs, what are we looking at this week?
We got some notable standouts, Riv. You've got Kumo all the way at the top in top lane category, so pretty impressive out of him. Then you've got Nori retaking that #1 spot in the jungler, 10 seconds ahead of the competition. Pretty impressive stuff out of him. I think that was another Olaf game, all these Olafs.
Yeah, we were talking about 612 being fast and then a 602.
Yeah, and someone else that also debuted and landed, not in the top 3, but top 7 was Kenvi, who had 2 wins already, 7th place in the jungle.
Gotta talk about it.
Magic #3, 3rd place. You've got Deftly also in there. And the other player that debuted, Rhino, he made it onto the list, but he's not on the list we show, if you catch my drift. He's in the hidden part of the list right now.
Oh, okay. I might be on lucky number 13 at the moment. So time to climb. First game jitters. You got to shrug them off. I mean, pros even get jitters going back into a season for games. So I'm not sure what it's like to jump into a team and then have the watchful eye always on you. But speaking of watchful eyes, who you may have been watching and who we have been watching, we have to talk about some of these players that have just taken us by surprise and just rolled Academy all split long, really going after the wins week after week and improving their team for the better throughout the entirety of the split. So let's get started here, getting into our first 2 players. We have to talk about one who really hasn't been around this split, and that's going to be King. He was our top player last split in Academy, Crumbs.
He was, and he was playing mostly marksman, but his replacement has done a stellar job. Tomo coming in to fill in King's shoes. He's been having a fine time on the carries, but the impressive part that makes him stand out from King is that he busts out mages as well. Now, most of the time it's against Aphelios. Aphelios kind of fell down in the meta, so maybe we see him go back to marksman, but just being able to play them is impressive enough.
Absolutely, and sticking on that team, if any slack was to be picked up there, Tomo has a bit of it, but 2 more players that stand out are Palafox and Fudge, and I want to start with Palafox. Really bloomed into the Cloud9 talent machine. As you have seen what Cloud9 can do with players, he has also found success in that. The size of his champion pool, the way he can play, and the way that he can also carry games from that mid lane has been pretty impressive this season.
Something about Cloud9 and developing talent. Clearly they know what to look for because they're looking a lot down under where they got King and where they got Fudge as well. Fudge, another player from Oceania. He is, I think 18 years old right now, so really young as well, really talented, mostly playing a lot of the split pushers this split, particularly the Camille. Before everybody else was picking up Camille and going crazy, Fudge was already locking it down into the Ornn matchup. He can play the set, he can play the tanks, and he's really impressive, and I think in due part because his sparring partner where he gets a lot of practice with is Licorice. So 2 best players right now just going head-to-head, and you know they're going to improve each other.
Absolutely, and already we see why Cloud9 is doing so well. What they have to practice with, what their solo lanes bring to the table here. 2 players already on that top list that we're looking at. And going back to the mid lane, we have to point out Evolved as somebody we've been talking about and everyone else has. It's in the name, and he has done just that over the splits. TSM is looking very strong in the mid lane. Evolved was #1 in the Honda Scouting Grounds, and throughout then he has been able to show up, mainly banned on his Zoe, but when he gets it, you know it's Evolved.
When evolved solo carries games is where we get to see the pinnacles of what it is that people saw in him, because sometimes his Zoe is just making 1v5 plays and you just that's it, you've won the game. You can shut down the team, but if he can make the solo plays, he's going to deliver. So it's kind of similar to the TSM roster where you Bjergsen stable but clutch when you need him to be.
Bjerg no beard, as we were saying.
Right, yes. Put some glasses, put a little beard on him, and I think you couldn't tell them apart.
Absolutely. And I think mid lane kind of dominates our discussion here as well.
It really does, and for good reason, though. There are a lot of good mid laners, and another one is a Blaze Olive from Golden Gardens. Now, the start of the split was a little bit rough for him because I think they were putting him on a too supportive style champion pool, karmas and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Now he gets to play some more carries. You've got the Azirs coming out. You know that he's delivering, and the team is one of the better-looking teams when playoffs. That's starting to really feel, or started to really be in the back of players' minds. He's stepping up, and it's a big part of why Golden Gardens is so stable right now. If your mid laner can play consistently, your jungler can do his thing, and the side lanes can be happy.
I think aggression in the mid lane is something that's being favored more and more throughout. We see EG kind of pulling back on that as I make a point of it, but I'd like to see this untempered aggression coming out from the academy players that can be used on that LCS stage that will overall change play styles because they're bringing something new to the table, and they're not afraid to just do it, or they're bringing it from scrims, I should say, to the LCS. One more honorable mention before we head into our games today, Crumbs. We got to talk about treats. It is a treat to watch this man play, whether in real form, ethereal form, cardboard form, what have you. It's honorable mention to him. He's now in the LCS because of the plays he's been able to make.
He was one of the ones that was consistently looked at and thought about he should be the one to go to LCS right now. LCS needs supports more than ever, and so far it looks like TSM like what he's bringing to the table. On top of a pretty diverse champion pool and vocal leader, I think that's exactly what you would want out of your support if you ask me. So good luck to him if he continues to play in the LCS.
All right, so that's us checking out kind of the top players we're looking at here as we're heading into Week 8 and on into the playoffs as teams vie for those last positions. And with that, we are ready to start digging in to Team Liquid Academy versus Dig Academy. Now, TL here is out of the playoffs, so it's more, and that's weird to say, but it's more of, kind of just if they can start putting a wrench in other hopes, Dignitas is going to be first.
That's part of it. Can we shut somebody else down, which is a lot of fun, personally, because you get to throw caution to the wind, try whatever strategy, see what works, see what doesn't. You've got a lot of players that are explosive, but also integrating Rhino into the team. How well is Rhino going to play in the bottom lane? Well, just give him the reps, put the time in, and let's see where Rhino ends up, because a 2-game sample size from somebody coming into a league is too little to make any judgment whatsoever. So let's hope that Rhino and Rikara find some better synergy than they had with Yama.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe after another week of scrims, they've been able to shore a few things up, figure out where the communication can come from, and maybe just get the comms that they need right out of the gate for these fights and for the early laning phase. Taking away for sure initiation from Dignitas. TL wants to be able to control the game, also taking Volibear out. Again, wanting to control the game. Kennen and Olaf, Dignitas is kind of hitting those. We're just getting Greg out of the early game strength. We don't want you to be able to have that early game.
And the Olaf is definitely really targeted at Greg. It's one of his best picks. In fact, it feels like Team Liquid's side just has almost one-tricky vibes, where Jenkins is clearly the best champion, is the Kennen. Same thing with Grig's Olaf, so the bans are no surprise. Wow. But Riv, it's 10-15 as well, so I think there's going to be a little bit of variety here going down. The champions that were most meta weren't particularly touched, but the one that I think could definitely stand out here in this match is the Twisted Fate. He got a little bit of a nerf, but that just means he can fly under the radar and get picked up.
Absolutely. And TL sticks with, we don't want Dig to be able to pull the trigger at any time, taking away Ashe, Volibear, and Galio. And maybe it's up to TL to start some fights here. They say, let's get in the ring. Set is picked. And it's a nice flex for TL here, so Dignitas can't really infer anything right off the bat.
It's a 5-role flex. That's kind of busted.
Seriously.
Set.
At this point.
You could play him in the AD role if you're going to pair up with the Senna. It doesn't really matter what set where he goes, he's going to find success. But that last ban, Rib, that Sona, what we're seeing is the ripple waves of what Cloud9 did against Team Liquid last week. Yep, everybody's trying out in solo queues, Sona, Lux. People are going crazy for it. Yes, exactly. Barf is the immediate response. At home, pick up your brown bags or prepare yourself, because we're going to likely see more of it. And when it wins, it is not pretty or fun to play against.
Shields on shields, one of the biggest early game shields you can get, plus heals, plus movement speed, and a lot of lockdown. Just wait for like the Yumi zone. I don't even know how to say things. Thresh and Callista. Taster's choice, tried and true. There you go. Locked in for Asta and JJ in the bot lane. So they're looking to play safe, but have the opportunity to go aggressive if they really want to use Fate's Call in that way.
That's what I'd want to see first, if they can play aggressive with this lane.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the trap that a lot of teams fall into. You have the Callista Thresh, and you can play really strong side with them, or because they're so safe, you just ignore them altogether, and then the Callista and Thresh feel impatient, and they're like, well, why did I pick these champions blind this early? I wanted a lot of help, and, well, if they don't get it, then they just are really hard to gank. So it kind of fits, so both get to get what they want. It's just that all AD players love to have as much attention down there.
We talked about throwing a wrench into Dignitas' game plan. How about a rocket grab? It's one of those things that can change the game anywhere, right? You want to put a hook against a hook. Blitzcrank, I feel like, has a much more powerful return on investment in the mid-game hooks.
Oh, he does. Big time. Single pick. So easy. It's not like Thresh, where you actually have to commit your body to it. Blitz is just, you come to me, and if I got my Kaisa, then she can also show up, and suddenly you got eliminated. It's a good answer to Thresh, who did get nerfed slightly, but I don't even think it's worth much. It's a few seconds of Lantern.
If Thresh and Blitz went fishing, right? Blitz would just be in the boat and hook something, and Thresh is like, I got something. I'm going in. I'm out of here.
Oh, that makes so much sense for Deep Sea Thresh.
Yeah. I got something. I'm going to go find it. But Froggen does lock in that TF. You said it would be picked up, even though he got a little bit of the nerf bat. He's doing all right, and he's going to start wheeling and dealing.
It was 2 seconds off of his early W, which is actually a really big deal because you're not scaling that until level 8, so the cooldown reduction will go down. He is still setting himself up to have the best of matchups, banning out the Sylas, a Yasui special. There's no more Galio, so the answers to TF mid are already somewhat limited, but you know Yasui loves to bust out whatever he feels like it. And with playoffs out of the picture, I hope he takes the opportunity to experiment. You could even pick a Zed here if you want. Just give us something exciting.
Let's go. That's his Aurelia up. He wants to try and style.
True.
Could try that. But yeah, I would love to see something pretty fun. Can we see some Lucians lately? Might be silly to do. Ivern.
Oh no.
Is my friend.
Is this really the Ivern game?
Is it going to be a Grig protection game here? Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't see it.
7 seconds. They're going to press R. They're looking for every opportunity to press R. No. Yeah, okay. Not wrong. A Rhino, last pick here for Team Liquid. As they look to toy with Dignitas here, as Dig really looks to separate themselves in the standings. They, as we were talking about teams kind of going back and forth, we have a top-tier game in the middle of the day, but for Dig and the rest, it's 6 spots. It's not like the LCS. You need to be in that top 6, and it's going to be the old-school way of making it into playoffs. So these games matter a lot for Dig. They cannot be thrown a curveball here by Team Liquid.
Big time, especially when you realize that Froggen and Acadian were playing in the LCS team earlier. To them, it's extra personal. You have to do well here, or else things are just not going to be looking good for you for next year. Now, last pick, Lorlo. We get to see him on carries and not so much on tanks, so this is exciting.
This is sweet. I like this. You did have the Vladimir ban recently, no? If I recall, I remember seeing him on the ban list, but maybe it was in a different league. I'm enjoying this. This is going to be a pretty sweet team. Overall, the damage The damage kind of hits, and then it's got to be delivered again after spells for Dig. So they need to be able to shock and all these fights. Just hit them, be done with the fight, and get out of there. I feel like Team Liquid can kind of mess around, get their pull, and then start chasing you down.
Yeah, I'm really liking Team Liquid's draft here. I think the Gangplank's going to have a fine time early versus the Vladimir. It's set mid, not Karthus mid, so the set is really robust against Twisted Fate. Now that he got nerfed, I think Set's going to have a much easier time laning, and he's not that easy to gank. He's so tanky. Lee, TF, usually a really deadly duo. Against a big tank like Set, good luck trying to kill him every time you can get a gold card. Unlikely to happen.
And it looks like everybody's kind of extending that champion pool at this point. You kind of said Team Liquid would be good to do it. Greg is taking that Karthus, and they've played these before, but this will be Lorlo's first Vladimir as he goes into this in the top lane for Academy. So exciting to see what they can bring to the table and if it really diversifies what they need to do enough. Lorlo has been the tank player, right? So it'll be exciting to see if he can start to carry.
And carrying from weak side, no other. So he has to basically survive, just try to really hardcore farm, and then deliver in team fights. Vlad is nothing if you're not team fighting with him. So big responsibility on Lorlo's shoulders, because the rest of the comp is probably going to fall off a cliff compared to what Team Liquid's drafted.
You know, I'm a little surprised from Team Liquid that they went so hard on banning things that could be global or game controlling, like the Ashe, the Galio, and then the Volibear, so they don't lose on turret control. And then they let the TF go over third pick onto the side of Dignitas, still giving a bit of that global pressure. Maybe just not in preference to play, but it seemed like banning out globals was their preference. We'll see how they play to it. We are going to be stepping away here to build a delay, but when we come back, we will have the game from the start. Don't go anywhere. Well, hello everybody. We are back. We're about to get into game. I was just looking over the picks and who's played what. We were talking about who has some first picks, like Greg playing that Karthus, but the set has been in the hands of Rikara, not in the hands of Yasui, in the hands of Greg. So they're switching it around. Like you said, it was all 5. I'm surprised Jenkins hasn't gotten it to it yet, but he's just been on other things as the team flexes it around.
It seems like the set top is the one that gets played the least nowadays,
Right.
which is a fall from grace because he was so strong in the top lane department, just being able to bully out every lane for the first 10 minutes. And now the junglers are taking it because he's like Vi 2.0, and then the supports really want it because they can have fun with Hex Flash. And then mid laners see is like, oh, I never die in mid lane. I can just pick this champion and I won't run it down. So everyone's finding joy in the brawler.
I mean, you gotta love when you get a speed steroid and you can just punch things and be in and out. You get a phage and you more speed steroid. You just run around. So yeah, taking that from the long lane to the short lane makes it even more fun to be able to harass and bully people out. Getting into this one in just a few minutes, Crumbs. We have some awesome games to go through today. And again, I am going to poll you on each dragon, the Drakes, to see if you're getting them right. You did pretty well last week, I have to say. So we're going on Crumbs' record and as well as teams heading into the playoffs on this one. We have Team Liquid Academy versus Dig Academy going live in just a few minutes. Rhino back in on the Rift. Game number 3 for him. I believe he switched it up again. He's been a Nautilus and a Tom, so now he's on the Blitz. Like we said, keeping that play open. So see if he can get the opportunities out there and shine today.
He's taking cues from none other than what seems to be the best support in LCS right now.
I mean, that's what it was rated, right?
Right? Core JJ styling on Blitz and Bard, so why not? Maybe you can ask him some questions. Core feels like he has to answer. Now you know what the mind of a Blitzcrank player is like, and that's the first step to being a great Blitz.
Core JJ makes so many plays. I honestly cannot tell you. I probably could if I went back and looked, but not right now. How many times he's been assist of the day for State Farm? You're just like, I have to write another assist of the day for Core JJ. Another one. He is always making plays, always finding windows. So if Rhino is able to take anything, I'm sure we'll be able to see that very soon in his gameplay.
That is funny, though. Your memory of Core JJ's playmaking is how many times he shows up on the assist of the week, which they're hard to come by. You know, you're looking for some good plays, too.
Yeah, he makes it happen. Blitzing the competition is one of the ones I use the week, so keeps me on my toes. Halablades Rikara, as you can see under his feetsies. And they're going to start off on the Brembleback. No help for Acadian. Doesn't really need it on the top side. Dark Harvest Karthus getting a bit of help. Actually took quite a few swipes there. As Acadian starts off with Conquer. Unsealed Spellbook, Vladimir. So we'll see quite a few plays coming from him. Hopefully a little flashy with some Flash Ignite plays and getting back to lane if he ever needs to.
Ooh, that also means it's no phase rush, Vlad. So really reliant on those summoner swaps to be impactful in those team fights, because phase is kind of what makes Vlad so strong, being able to get in and get out. You go Q, E, W, and the W procs your phase rush right away, and you're just pooling out of there like a piece of water, just sliding down.
Just like Alex Mack.
Yes.
Under the door and out
like
there.
Alex Mack.
That was a throwback. I don't think anybody knows what that is. Blasting down the last minion. Jenkins with the slight push, as you would expect. I mean, this happens for Vlad up until level 9, Q5, and it's fun. But then he can start fight back, especially against Kindle Gem or whatever he starts to build into to help him get some cooldown for Lorlo as he sticks behind his turret. Yusui and Froggen back and forth here as it's pretty even in CS. Minion Dematerializer being used up a few times here. Froggen as he sorts himself out to get those wild cards on point with clearing waves.
Yeah, that wave clear going to be diminished with a weaker W, which means his trade patterns are a lot weaker. Pretty much everything early about TF got weaker.
Good to point
and that's why this game right now, it's going to be hinged on Karthus and Lee, because a successful Karthus jungle game is one where you've never seen the opponent. It's when you've just farmed, you haven't done anything, you just farm, and then you get to type jungle diff while the enemy jungle looks for plays himself and they fail, but you just out CS him. So that's what Grig is trying to do here. We'll pop those base right away because he needs to be quick with the last hitting. So he's just going to go straight back to the bot side and continue to farm. And he starts on the bot side because you can clear those higher XP camps sooner because you've got all the AoE, and he's off to the races while Acadian, he's just now going off to kill his blue buff. So already Karthus jungle with the jungle difference. Just fantastic gameplay.
Acadian over here kicking and screaming, but for good cause. He's killing things. Taking out Gromp now, and he'll have Krugs coming up just now. Long walk back on that one as the top's going to start respawning. So we'll see if he tries to make a play bottom. JJ actually takes a pretty wide route here, so basically alerts Acadian nobody's there. Maybe they do start to move in for what could be this first Drake vision. It's still 30 seconds, so quite early.
Yeah, without basing on your lead, it's going to be a lot harder to solo that dragon. You usually want help if you're going to do it like that. So he's just going to take the base, and I think Karthus is just going to continue to farm. He's a little bit slow because he's taking an odd route, but he'll get to clear his whole side, knowing that Lee is top side as well. So it'll be a few more camps before he hits 6, and I think that's where Team Liquid will start to really party down in the bot lane. Because despite it being Kalista and Thresh, you've got 2 globals and some really hard CC.
Froggen cleaning up mid lane. And we did expect there to be a bit of help maybe going towards bot with Acadian, but he's back towards top. Looks like he's going to start hard farming. I feel like Jenkins is loving what's happening, but knows he's against a Vladimir at this point, so even as low as you get Vlad, he can still be very slippery. And here we have a bit of vision for Asa just above the lane. They'll start to get a wave that pushes back, nicely stacked up on caster minions with 3 melees in the front. Oh my word, Jenkins with good shots here. Parlay to Lorlo. He says, no, we'll talk. Just you and me. As Froggen now starts to roam up. Lorlo with a nice bait in there on 200 HP. Jenkins should be good here as he just rolls out of this one. Crimson Rush just going to be up and not even be able to use onto Jenkins. The flag goes up and he retreats, walking his own plank, but he's able to swim out alive.
That's the W nerf. I'm pretty sure had this been 10-14, he might have been able to draw a second card if he was really fast, but he walked all the way there just to help out Lorlo. There was no kill, there was nothing. He just gave that up. So Froggen doing a lot to help his team out, but not better than Rhino, though. That's huge. That's fun.
Kind of goes to show you the ward's going down and they're just going at it top lane as everybody's just zoned in here as they come back into the week. And Froggen's like, all right, no wards, no vision. Let's roll on up. Let's see if everybody's on their toes now and a little bit more alert after the first gank comes through. Jenkins gets out alive, but he does have to teleport back. Lorlo has TP'd, is now on Ignite, so we'll watch that kill pressure on the top side. And level 6 for Froggen now. Ooh, nice try by Rhino, looking for the openings, and you got to throw the hooks, right?
Gotta try him out. Use him on cooldown is fun. Comes another one, but the wave is too big. Lee was there, though. What's going on?
He thought he was baiting towards Grig, but Grig wasn't actually there yet. Rhino puts himself in an unfortunate position, just a little ahead of the play, and Acadian is there to punish.
This is good. Dignitas finding the first kill of the game. They need to run away with this. It's going to net them the dragon, which is a great start, but it has to keep going, Riv. You've got Karthus just happy to be farming away, and they're going to just be planning on scaling up. I mean, you look at Jenkins. He's even gone with a Cole here. He's just happy to know that he's got a Gangplank and a Karthus in his team, that they know that Dig's team will probably have a really hard time later into the game. So yeah. Team Liquid, happy to play it slow, but they have the tools to just rain down on any side lane for Dignitas.
Very true. That was, I like the idea of that, right? He steps up, but they didn't have the vision control, so knowing Hook was down, he's like, oh, okay, I'll push up. This is safe. No, it's not.
Yeah, I thought on the first Hook, JJ could have gone in there and actually drop a lantern in the brush, and Lee can ward hop to the lantern.
True.
And then just take it and kick the Blitzcrank in. So they got lucky that Rhino walked right on in.
So
but
what you're
hey,
saying is room to improve. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm saying they're playing the mind games really well,
absolutely.
luring them
Absolutely.
into a false sense of security.
Yeah, you actually they have good movement speed to get out of a gank with overdrive and both overdrives, I should say.
Is that the
Being
name
able
of
to
both
beat
skills?
steroid.
Because I think they are.
I feel like it is, TBH. I was going to say no, but then I'm like, I usually don't second
I
guess
think
skills.
it might be phase drive for Kaisa.
Something like that. Yeah. I think you're right. Over the wall, Grig. Oh, hook and back. I like it. That was like a Lee Sin Thresh combo hook kick. Put it in the books. Rhino with the Hemo Plague on. Draws one back. Froggen's forced a flash. That's going to be the Void Missile coming out. Nice job by Ricard to clean up on that one. Rhino really coming up big after going down there. Keeps his head in the game as Dignitas is going to get control over this Rift Herald for now. It doesn't look like a hook comes through. Mid's getting pushed by Yasui, which is going to pull aggro from Asta and JJ. But Acadian is able to grab the eye of the Herald.
That was a big value hook there out of Rhino. Not only after Twisted Fate went for his ultimate, but also got his flash. Now, let's see how poor Grig maneuvers his Karthus into JJ and Acadian, because JJ just sees him right there like, hey, wait a minute, who is this guy? Nice and easy.
Terrible crumbs. I've committed sin. It's Supercharge. I haven't played Kaisa in so long. Supercharge.
It's kind
Good
of
grab here
close.
for Rhino to still find that in the midst of a fight. That was nice, knowing he had protection from his teammates. We were close. It was a drive charge over. It's still the same concept.
And speaking of concepts,
Oh, hit me.
okay, Acadian going for the Tiamat because he's trying to farm as fast as Karthus. He's giving himself the best farming tool for physical damage champions, which is the Tiamat. So he recognizes how slow he can be compared to Karthus, and is trying to do something about it with that build, which is why that kill on Grig is so important. The Karthus's speed of gaining levels in gold is so important. It is like the most important thing you can be doing, because you're not ganking. Like, it has to be the ultimate priority. So dying there puts him on even playing field with Acadian, but Acadian's already got 2 kills on the board, and we haven't even seen a Requiem yet.
One plate and a bit. Ooh. That's an acquired hook right there. We'll learn to get those. 17.4. So it's really close, actually, with only 300, 500 gold difference. So we have a few more plates getting knocked down. And now Lorlo's going to get back to lane. A little fight on to Froggen on the mid lane as he gets slammed down. Suplex right into the defile. That's painful. Good kill in the mid.
Great kill, and partial credit goes to Rhino for that hook earlier that got the Froggen flash. Without that, this kill in mid would not have happened. Yeah, you got Yasui's both Ghost Flash, but you weren't even playing around set in the first place. It's good that he gets that out. And another hook, but there's Fate's Call.
Box goes down. He denied it. Fate's Call comes out. Ignite's going to kill him. No, he gets to heal as well as he throws him out. Perfectly played. He was probably telling him and yelling him to get him out of there immediately for the heal. Void Seeker just missing. Asta's going to try to step forward as Grig's there. And press and R didn't work just this time for Team Liquid. Now fight to the mid lane. That's going to be Gate coming out. Kick back, attack coming in. Gold cards there. Kenny Sloan with a cripple. Is it going to be enough for Froggen? Gold card's going to run out. Time's out. The hook coming in. Yasui sidesteps. And it looks like he's got more to dodge here. Acadian wants to take it, but it says no. No.
He just ran.
That is... I like patience, but patience isn't the word I want. He is just the whole... Yeah, I can't find the word. Restrained. Ha ha. Thanks, brain vocabulary, for being a jerk today. TL pushing bot now. That was interesting, though. I thought it would be a finishing kill, but maybe they didn't see somebody on the map. Asta underneath. Wow, that was quick. Rhino, knowing the mana barrier was up, had even just a little mana based on that passive he has, and he's still able to get the shield out. Nice job by Ricard to go full dive as well.
That's the Halo Blade and a little bit of a tweak to the Kaisa build that is kind of gaining some traction here. It's the early serrated dirt because it just increases your burst so much, and no one has played against this recently, so it's really hard to anticipate how much they're going to do. Akaden might take this.
Rinse and repeat, Crumbs. Here comes Greg, and he says, thank you very much. Steals that. You can see the assisting, helpful hands of Dignitas on the Drake there. Yasui almost takes down JJ in the midst of 3 members of Dignitas.
Oh, no.
Oh, what a kick. Can't follow, just out of the way of resonating strike. That, okay, I like it.
Huh.
It was cute.
So either he thought it was timing out, or he tried to ward hop and died, and just activated it, because it is early, like you're not early, sorry, late. You're going to miss out on that plate, but Shelly can't take the blast cone.
That was pretty cool, Asta. I've never seen that interaction before, and now I have. There's a first for everything. 14 minutes on the clock for this one. Dignitas definitely needs to make a bit of ground here. 6-8 as they're the ones fighting for that playoff spot to come in, and Liquid switching things up a bit. Now Karthus in the jungle to make sure they always can get under the skin of Dignitas. Jenkins has a global ult. Yasui on his first set play in the mid, as that would go to their jungle, or even Rikara previously. So TL's trying to throw Dig for a loop here, put a wrench in the works, and Rhino's come up with a few grabs here that have helped turn the tide of some fights.
He's been doing great. Alongside Rikara, the bottom lane is legitimately putting a ton of pressure on the Dig side. That should have been what is the stronger side for them, because you're not playing around Vladimir at this point. He's just farming up. It's going to be the team fights, and Froggen hasn't been able to find an opportunity down there either. There haven't been any ports that we can look and say, this is how the game started to snowball. That hasn't happened, and I think partially because Team Liquid have a ton of tools to respond against. So Yasui's holding down mid lane, pushing into TF, and worst comes to worst, you've got Requiem and the Gangplank ultimate. So even if they were trying to make a play around Rhino and Rikara, they probably try to just burst somebody down, and might even just turn everything around.
Ooh, nice try on the hook by JJ. I thought he was going to go for Rikara on kind of that over-the-shoulder hook there. Now coming back in, Rhino may have his up. Destiny's going to come down. They're pinched from both sides. It's going to be a 4v3, 4v4. And here comes Acadian from the top side as another challenger enters the fight. And now it's Team Liquid trying to run from this one, as they have lost Rhino. And the Stampede can no longer happen. Oh, that feels bad, man. Asta goes down. We've all been there. And they even this fight up. It's going to be a marksman for a support. Good job by Greg to pick that one up for Team Liquid to keep this one going. No plates, I believe, taken on the bot side of the map, and that leaves Jenkins on the top. First turret of the game going to him.
So brutal. It's so brutal. They go for a play, which is a fine counter from Dignitas. You have the TF, you know you can respond, but just like I was saying, they have enough damage to instantly try to turn the tides on someone. So they combine Gangplank Ultimate, Karthus, and the Kaisa burst with the Ignite from Blitz to just get the carry low enough to actually go down. So this is a huge positive win for Team Liquid. You got gold into Gangplank, and you traded support for AD, which maximizes the farm, and another kill.
No. Rhino hits him with the horn. That's one going down, and that's Yasui picking one up too. He's been having not a back and forth mid lane, just going back and forth with Froggen. No kills coming up, and the team's able to come up and put these on a silver platform to make this set play even bigger. They're going to get the second rift on their side. Acadian was able to take that first one, so you can see the game shifting in Liquid's favor even more, that they can have map control here as they start things off, coming up on 17 minutes in.
It's that jungle diff that we're talking about, just farming away, press R, and you're doing your job. So the objective focus is actually working out, and Acadian needs to make this pick work. Jenkins has flash, though, and he's tanking.
It's the orange. Good barrel. It's going to be Acadian coming back, though. Doesn't get the damage, and it is going to be the Tides of Blood burst that takes him down. A real touch and go, though. Thought you were going to lose one. JJ stays alive. Nicely done by Dignitas to come up with another kill there. And I was kind of looking at the compositions, Crumbs. I questioned earlier why a global would get through. And then if I think about it, wherever Froggen TPs, if Cannon Barrage is up, Jenkins has a free spot to Cannon Barrage. Especially with Death's Daughter hitting exactly in the middle when Froggen comes out. That's
Exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah, you've got the double global threat to answer TF. Let's see if they use it now. Hook misses.
Oh, I like Rhino trying to go in to save Ricard there, really putting himself as the meat shield to start. Nice hook by JJ, even under fire, and he's going to flay back one as he goes down. One more Skittle just out of range. Oh, Defile, but he gets saved by Safeguard. Nice job by Jay. Oh, going down. There's just too much spray damage.
Wow.
Getting excited for the saves, but you got to remember how much AoE comes from this side of Team Liquid right now. Also, Greg pressing R as he is in death form. And it looks like Jenkins won't try to go for this fight. 2-3 down for Team Liquid, 2 down on the side of Dignitas, as these fights are just getting very brawly. 7-7 in kills here.
They're getting brawly, and they're favoring Team Liquid every time. Somehow, they find themselves in these positions where the Karthus can just come clean up afterwards. His itemization is really getting out of hand here with the Leandries completed. I think that's what made the difference there in that last fight. He already had the Madness stacking, allowing him to take down those few additional carries. And it's the perfect play style for somebody that wants to just flash in and die when you have been told your whole life, well, you need to engage, man. You need to play Jarvan and Sejuani and get in there, and if you die, you're fine. Play the carry as Karthus, flash in, and your team thanks you even more than if you engage the pass. Well done, yes. You've engaged, you did damage, you did everything we've asked you to. So the Karthus is the ultimate boomer carry.
He's the entry fragger.
Oh, he'll take himself out and take 2 people with him. He's the best entry fragger you could ask for.
I love it. Here's that fight again.
It's a good hook there by JJ, actually. Had that hook missed, this fight could have been a little bit more deadly for Team Liquid. And it was, what, that final Q? I think the second to last Q that hit Asta there.
I think
a little bit more. TF
well, you try to share the damage, right? So it splits the defile or whatever, the lay waste, but then you just muddle each other up and you can't get out of the situation, so you actually kill each other. I think they were trying to help, but bittersweet moment for them as they did go down. And now damage to the mid lane here. Nice TP in. Ricard could be out of position as Greg. No crowd control coming regardless. Crowd put on a wall of pain, and they just walk right through that, shredding it as they do more damage to the turret. So things getting out of hand now as Dignitas knows they can get back onto the Rift and act before these globals come back up for Liquid.
Great look there out of Froggen. Normally, you wouldn't even see those dives happening around the mid-tier 1. You'd see them more in the side lanes or maybe even in the jungle. So it's great that you can just pop it and see, all right, who's there? Can we make this play? You've got the confirmation. Ricard was almost out of range, but it was good that JJ also had the hook lined up exactly where the Kai'Sa would have gone to.
2 big items for Asta and JJ. Lunon's Hurricane and Stone Plate there. These skirmishes are happening so often, so expect those to really come in handy. Blitz going around the corner. Watch for Rhino on this play. They see him on a ward. Looks like he's just going to go for the punch on the Lorlo. Won't take too much damage for his troubles. Coming out of the pool, and he won't be able to silence him just yet. Uh-oh, I think Rhino got himself into trouble there, going for one target and not focusing with the team. Now Jenkins and Greg chasing, and they could be out of position here as Acadian's going to get back with the safeguard for Froggen, but not in time. Just late to the party. Ricard has now made his way down. Does this end or does it keep going? JJ is rotating from top down, and they're question marking Thresh just chilling as he wards top. I don't think JJ expected this many fights to break out as he was putting vision on the map.
The fight is non-stop, but the ultimates still have a cooldown. Here comes another one, though. They're looking for Asta. He's dead.
Grabbed right out of that lantern, put the showstopper on it, and now Acadian's looking to go in. Asta with 300 HP, and he gets quickly taken down by the burst of Ricard of Mad Bees. And a thumbs up coming in for TL. What a back and forth so far, Crumbs. A lot of fighting's happening, but we're not seeing the pressure being gained just yet. A few waves are pushed up, and I do feel once TL gets the waves pushed up, it's going to be much more in their favor. When we see Dig pushing, you have Lorlo on the side, not crushing down turrets. Yeah, he can farm pretty fast, but once he gets to the turret, it's kind of easy to just push that off. So Team Liquid can keep a good hold on this. Dig's going to have trouble.
Exactly. The whole about crashing those minion waves, because you can easily transition into those objectives afterwards since you have all of the vision at your enemy's turret, or best case scenario, and you not only get that, but the minions die to the turret while you get the objective and you win the fight. So that is when the gold is really going to start to balloon for Team Liquid. Thus far, at least they're doing well in the Dragon department. If they can stack those souls and be well on their way, they're going to just be a menace come late game. And speaking of menaces, this is a weird one to me. I'm not a big fan of this because the playstyle is counterintuitive.
Hit me.
Medjai's Karthus.
I looked at that for a second. Yeah, it seems like you just buy a book to rip pages out of it. Not sure.
Yes.
Michael Scott in it, you know? You can't learn from this. No, I'm just kidding. But other than that, the Leandries does allow him to do damage, so I think what you bank on is that death hurts, but you grab the assist. So you basically are just keeping a few pages of the book, right? Maybe just scribble on them, and they don't work as well. I did question it a bit, though. We'll see. If it goes up, then we know why he got it. Looking at how this one can play out, though, Froggen, I feel like, will have to be one of those side laners to get these turrets. Unless they're just playing, Lorlo can chip away, but Lorlo being one of the ones under the turret with the team, I think helps a bit with Froggen can chip away at these. But that takes a lot of time for Dig, and Team Liquid's not giving up a lot of the map. They're always creating pressure, and they're making Dig have to act on that.
Exactly. Dig had to act because Froggen was looking for something in the mid lane. The same play that they tried on Rikara that worked once, they looked for it again, hoping that it would set them up for this Dragon Dance. That goes to Acadian.
Nice. Grabbed one. Yasui can take quite a bit of damage here. Remember, he has the shield, so he's baiting in a bit. Get themselves out. JJ's safe.
One big ult.
Yep.
Also lost Fate's Call, though. That might actually prove to be bigger than the Gangplank ultimate here, since they are just trading hook for hook from the support department.
Oh, this is easy for Acadian and Asta, though. If Grig gets this, big kudos. Big damage onto JJ as well. Nice flank by Lorlo. Good Hemo Plague down, advancing a bit of the damage. JJ gets grabbed in. He is going to get a flay on, but the team of Liquid still answering as they just flow in and out of the attacks at Dignitas. Lorlo won't die from this, but they need to... Oh my God, the Leandries! Oh! Dude, let's look at this mage. Let's look at this Magi again. Grig?
What?
Grig signed off on like 4 or 5 pages there. Holy moly. Gets it calculated. And Grig coming up now to help his team get the Baron. Liquid with a huge fight. The grab as well from Rhino was very unexpected. JJ was just kind of out in the open. He got crushed immediately. Now Rhino sets up defense on the right side, and Liquid starts to steal all the resources they can of Dignitas.
It's always those Leandries kills that make me rethink, how good is this item really? Because there's no way he would have done this there. And yeah, at this point, the Karthus is just going to pop off because he can get the Zhonya's, and there's so many squishies on the other side. But back to the fight. Dignitas is forced to pull the trigger right away when Lorlo goes for a flank without the rest of the team really knowing what is going on. So they're like, whoa, what do? We're supposed to engage. We don't have Fate's Call to follow up on this. We don't have Hook either. And Yasui's flanking from the back. So because their composition is so much weaker in team fights and the flank was at a time where they could not have gone for that kind of play, they just get wiped. And it gives them Baron. It gives Team Liquid Dragon. This game's got Team Liquid written all over it now.
What a fight. Also, Crumbs, I forgot to ask you what strike it was. I am just not on it today, you know?
We'll get it
but
next
Liquid,
time.
Liquid is, well, they're hovering here. Dignitas wants to try and attack whoever wants to save this turret, while waiting for the wave. No one from Liquid's coming, and Froggen will start to push this. Lorlo was there as well to make sure that didn't turn into anything too big. And now it's going to be a trade of sides. Froggen is going to get his wave cleared very fast by the ultimate of Jenkins as they now push the bot side of Dignitas' map. Yasui's running the inside track to make sure nobody can route Liquid's team and take them out here. And it's to the base gates. Froggen is forced to back with no pressure.
Dig has weak sauce wave clear here without Froggen being around.
Yeah,
these turrets are just so easy to kill. They're going to get an inhibitor off the first push, even forces the ward hop from Acadian. Dig's just conceding this one. Might even concede the second one with how much time Team Liquid has on this Baron power play still.
A difficult way to go on to this one, especially for Liquid. Playing so loose, so carefree. It looks like they're kind of just taking these fights as they go. Nothing's really putting them in a bad mentality. They get back out in the rift, and we see them fighting over and over again, especially Yasui. He seems to be enjoying himself on the set here this game, following Grig as a Bash brother into any battle as cannonballs rain over their head. Seems like a pretty good combo. I'd go in on that. Rikara and Rhino, again, we got to say, Rhino, he has been caught out a few times, but he's finding the openings, making the plays, keeping his mental, and not letting those few instances of messing up really get to him.
That's what you want. That's what you really want out of your new players. Just being able to say, keep going, keep looking for it. You never want to stifle their playmaking sense because you say, oh, no, that was not a good play. We don't want you to keep going for it. It's like, no, how can we best support you so that you can keep going for these aggressive plays? Because that's what you want out of these new players. You want them to have that aggression that has been tamed out of the veterans after just being hammered at away for so many years in League of Legends. So as long as Rhino keeps looking for those plays and the team is somewhat close to back him up, I think he's going to have a bright Blitzcrank career ahead of him, considering you've got Core JJ to look up to as well.
Absolutely. Seeing glimpses. A few of those mid-fight hooks, you can see it. And the third unique in his 3 games, right? Nautilus for his first game, Tom Kench for his second, and now Blitzcrank. So showing a tank side of things. Maybe we'll see some enchanters or some aggressors later if he gets himself into set or something else. Get a TP up as Griggs hovering. I was going to say walking through the river, but I'm not sure Karthus actually does that. And we're back to mid just hanging out. CS is really not telling us too much anymore in this game. A lot of the kills over to the side of Liquid, the map control over to Liquid, and they've started to work around Dignitas in taking their objectives. They don't really have to fight anymore to control the map.
It doesn't look like Dignitas is going to fight for this dragon.
No,
Vladimir TP's away. They're grouping up around middle, which gives you some hope, but Froggen is all the way in topside. He would have to port in here. I think this is all Team Liquid, and then Ocean at this point is just huge. Watch for Yasui, see if he gets a cool flank off, but the hook is first.
Oh, getting the pool out of Vladimir is amazing. That's really what he uses to get the engage in, Tides of Blood, pool damage with his Hemo Plague on. So there's a little clock that Dignitas has to work with. Ocean is up, and this is Soul. Greg's already on it. Destiny's going to come out. And that's just Froggen in the top side. Doesn't look like he's ported anywhere just yet. He's trying to get close to Wolves now. That's going to be a steal for Acadian as he hops himself in and out, getting himself that Drake. A Dig is trying to run for the hills. That's the Void Seeker. Rikara connects. No, the Void Seeker comes out now as it was just a tag in, and Rikara was able to get that deadly attack in from his ult. Now it's going to be damage onto Lorlo, and there's another hook coming in. Dignitas may have paid dearly for trying to get that soul, but they probably would have paid dearly for not getting it too.
You know who else played dearly right now, Riv? Acadian. You pay a lot to have that kind of luck, to flash in, to steal a soul, and you don't even get to smite it. It's your Q. So it was that Grig missed his smite just enough that Acadian's Q was able to steal it. Now they're going for the game, and I think they have it.
Froggen goes gold. He's going to flash out. They're just trying to deter Liquid here, but Liquid's feeling good, standing tall. Actually, chipping away at the turret more than they're chipping away at Dig. I know Liquid gets the minions pushed up again. Dig, again, can't do anything about pushing them out. But this is some breathing room. Dignitas keeps themselves in the game. Bloodthirster finished up here for Asta. They're looking to stay in this one for the long haul.
There is some hope. There is definitely hope stopping that Ocean Soul, as well as you've got the Baron coming up very soon, and Team Liquid just reset. So that means Dignitas can go into the red side jungle, drop their own vision, clear something out, and establish some sort of lane pressure to be able to set up for the Baron. But they're going to go for Jenkins first. Doesn't actually hit Froggen with the barrel, so there could be a chance to take him out here.
Grig slowly, kicks him back to safety, actually. Dignitas losing ground here in the middle of the map as they try to get a fight without enough vision. Push forwards. They're fighting around those pink boards they just placed. And inside the base are the pings of Liquid to head for Dignitas' Nexus. Lorlo's doing what he can to clear out the last wave of minions, but it is going to be Liquid crashing in as fast as possible here. As Crump says, like Alex Mack. They're just going to slide right through, under the door, and on in. to Dignitas' base. That's going to be the first Nexus turret going down. A valiant fight coming from Lorlo as the Blood Mage goes gold and goes down. That's going to be the Nexus in the eyes of Liquid. Crumbs. Liquid was able to thwart out Dignitas' run for another playoff spot. They're still there, but this hurts quite a bit.
Oh, they're even hurting Acadian's KDA. They just want more blood. Can they get Asta too? Yes, they can. They're just killing them all. Oh, that really hurts Dig. Not only losing to the last place team, but when playoffs is this close, and in this fashion, because Rip, this was not a close game. Yeah, you stole the soul, but Team Liquid just rolled you over.
They absolutely did. Came out strong. The objective or the idea to ban all globals to keep control of the game seemed to work out. I kept saying that in Champion Select, and they immediately went to fighting, and then they immediately went to controlling where Set was, where the ults were coming down, and making sure that Froggen was non-existent with the global he had, giving up one of those globals to him.
It was already a rough pick for Froggen and Acadian to pull off in the LCS. And Academy looked a little bit better, but now it got nerfed, making it much harder to play off. And they put themselves on the clock to try to beat Team Liquid. The last place team weren't able to execute, and Team Liquid's draft just won the game with the clock.
That it did. And now we are going to be stepping away for a break, but on the other side, it is going to be the third place Golden Guardians Academy taking on the fifth place CLG Academy. Don't go anywhere.
Start with America's most awarded network, the one with unbeatable reliability 13 times in a row.
This network is one less thing I have to worry about.
Then you give people more plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need.
Verizon Unlimited plan is so reasonable, they could stay on for the rest of their lives.
You include the best in entertainment, and you offer it all starting at $35. Because everyone deserves the best. This is Unlimited built right, only on Verizon.